Hey there! If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I'll say that again. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast. Oh, yep, with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Now it's time for the Big Bad Broadcast.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Thank you.
Well, thank you for tuning in to the Big Bad Broadcast. We're big, we're bad, and we broadcast. And we got the regular crew here today. Joe Silky's still out on assignment, but I believe he sent us something we'll get to. We have Mike Grief. Peace!
It doesn't make sense to go riot, so peace just sounds better, even though I'm saying peace, but I want to punch the shit out of something.
Feeling a little stabby?
Little stabby.
And we got Craig Yoda Mitchell.
Oh, hello there.
Guys, I started laughing as we were going on. I was reading this thing about the stupidest criminal in the world, and I just got to read it verbatim.
Wait. Did you get my police report? Put it away.
You couldn't be this dumb. Ready for this? Even more bizarre, a bank robber thought he could get away with disguising himself as a tree. It happened in New Hampshire when a man came into a bank one Saturday morning with tree branches taped to his body with duct tape. After patiently waiting in line with the other customers, he ordered the teller to fill a bag with cash. Then he fled the bank. So the manager, he managed to get home and remove his branches from his person. But as soon as he was arrested, because his face could clearly be seen through the tree bark.
Groot robbed the bank.
At least he was true to his roots.
Hey.
Oh, leave me alone.
Hey, did the rug match the carpet? The carpet matched the whatever.
Which branch was he at?
Hey. All right, we're punning now.
Okay,
later, I bet.
Here's another stupid one. Another bank robber in North Carolina thought he'd be able to avoid being detected through his clothes, so he took off all his clothes except for his underwear. Went into the bank, asked the teller for the money. He stuck the wads of bills down the front of his pants, ran out the door with the alarm blazing. 2 women on the street reported that there was a man running down the street in his underwear. He was immediately arrested.
Do you have his phone number?
Recognized by the racing stripe on the back. Look, it's Go Speed Racer.
And then this one, you're just not going to believe. This is the last one I got to tell you. This man broke into a funeral home in a small town near Valencia, Spain, and tried to pretend to be dead when the police came in. He laid on top of another corpse in the coffin and just laid there. And the cop went, "This one's breathing." Oh, man.
It's a good thing they didn't have electrodes to try to take brainwave activity because he would have passed dead.
I know.
Oh, wow. Man, that's hilarious.
What's going on with you, Mike? Anything?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking because of what we're doing today. You know what I was just thinking about old movies and stuff, and like who was my favorite. I mean, I was a James Cagney freak. I don't know about you guys, but I loved Cagney, almost all his movies, Bogart, all that stuff, and I just remember that. What was it? The Angels with Dirty Faces, and then what was the other? Made It, Ma, Top of the World was White Heat, which is my favorite line of any movie, anytime. It's when he's got the guy in the trunk the guy who tried to kill him in prison, Parker, And he's got him in the trunk. So he comes out of the wherever they're hiding, and he's eating he's eating a chicken wing, and he looks over and he's, "How you doing there, Parker?" And the guy in the trunk goes, "It's stuffy in here, Cody. I need some air." And he goes, "Stuffy, huh? I'll give you a little air." And he just blows. I mean, that's my favorite of any movie. It's never been beat. I just and that's just kind of the stuff I'm in the mood. Plus also being that it's a couple of weeks past Halloween, I just finished my last of my Halloween candy, and this is the weirdest thing I was saying. It's like, you tell kids, don't take candy from a stranger. Then you put them in an unrecognizable costume and send them off to strangers' houses to go get candy. I think Halloween was invented by disgruntled parents who were trying to kill their kids.
Without a doubt. Two things I want to comment on what you just said. One is, how come every one of these mafia movies, they shoot the guy in the trunk and right underneath it is the gas tank? I always think that. Wouldn't it explode?
No.
If they hit if a bullet hit a gas tank, yes.
Yeah, it would explode.
No,
yes, it would.
Mythbusters proved that doesn't happen. It doesn't explode. It's not. It's a Hollywood.
Mythbusters.
Yeah, no, they did. They actually did that with a gun. There has to be a spark, and there has to be enough gas vapor to do it, but it's not very likely. No, sorry, I don't mean to. He could go through the body into the tank, and they could be driving away, and they could run out of gas.
What if the guy in the trunk was smoking?
Right. Right.
Then I guess you got a problem. Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing too is, I got to say about kids. A couple of years ago, we were having Halloween at my sister's house, and my cousins, we all get there, and it's great for the kids because we have like 6 stations. They come up one driveway, and they get like 6 houses worth of candy. And so we make like a big deal out of it. We decorate the house. We got jumping spiders and all this pretty scary stuff. And in the garage for us, we have some cocktails. We have chili and some sandwiches, some sandwiches and everything. So anyway, this redneck pickup truck pulls up. This is a true story, I swear to God. And while we're giving the kids the candy, the lady goes into the garage, and we look, and she starts making herself up a plate. and she yells to the pickup truck, "They got food!" And these people start coming out of the pickup truck, eating our food. And we were like so horrified. And then they sat in front of the house and chowed down on our freaking food.
Where was this?
On Merritt Island, at my sister Caroline's house, this really nice neighborhood.
Florida, that's what.
And then, totally. And then all of a sudden, one came back for seconds.
Hey.
And my sister goes, "I'm sorry, just get back in your truck. This isn't for you."
They thought it was trick or treating. It was like, we got lobster rolls here for.
They got food.
Oh, come on, man! I'm sorry, but Florida, you can hear the banjos in the air everywhere you go in Florida.
I know.
What I wanted to bring up is something that happened to me because I drive rideshare. That's my survival job. I don't hide from that. And the biggest challenge for me is find out where I can urinate, because all the restaurants, all the stuff, they don't let you in.
Craig wears Depends. That's right. The show today is brought to you by Depends.
No, I got to tell you, I'm pretty smart. What I figured is I find a pretty deserted piece of road, right? And I'll get out of my car and I'll just, drop my pants enough so I can urinate. And I'll stand there and I'll pretend like I'm looking around so if anybody passes, I go, "Oh, that guy's just looking around." So
I know that guy's peeing, making believe he's looking around.
They can't see it that's the distraction. So I'm peeing the other day like this, and the guy walks and goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just looking around." And I'm peeing at the same time, and the guy doesn't hear it. So and he starts going, "Oh, so how about those Dodgers?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then
where was he? Was he in front of you?
No, he walked up alongside. I was on the driver's side with the car door open.
Oh, okay.
Between the car door and the car. I've never missed yet, thank God. And I haven't wet myself yet, thank God. And the guy's walking on the sidewalk, so he doesn't see that I'm peeing.
Oh, my God.
Through the car.
Places to pee with Craig Mitchell.
You know what, though? It's ingenious because sometimes you just got to pee.
Hey, listen, man, you don't have to tell me. I was a UPS driver. I've drove trucks. I've driven cabs. I've driven for UPS. And it is the truth, man. It's like, thank God UPS had a route and there was a hospital on the route. So that was, but yeah, when you drive for a living, man, it's the constant journey to find something to a place to pee.
McDonald's doesn't let you in. There's a code. You got to buy something for them to open up the door. It's insane. So I just got
really?
Yeah, they don't. Starbucks will do it, but most of the time they're occupied. And plus, I don't want to take time off the road. I want to keep on getting rides. So
you got to get that thing where you can just pee, while you're
driving. Get a Foley catheter. Get a catheter.
Get a catheter. Just shove it right up there.
Get a catheter and hang it off the thing between the seats where you can hang a suit.
And those people from Florida go, look, he's got lemonade. That's all
he got apple juice.
You just wear a diaper. You know what I mean? You be driving, and it's like, what are you guys doing today? Okay.
Ooh, that's a big bump.
Oh, is it a left? Is it a left over here?
Wow.
Man, you must have trouble peeing if you have to make that kind of face, Mike.
Oh yeah, I got stones the size of freaking the Rocket Gibraltar there.
Yeah, so that's my pet peeve, and I'm sticking to it.
You guys ever see any great Halloween costumes? Since we're talking about Halloween.
Oh man, this year was like incredible. See, I always like they take anything and make it into like the sexy nurse. Meanwhile, you go to the hospital and the nurse you actually see, it's like if anything, it's like you get a.
Has more hair on her arm than Ernest Borgnine.
Okay, here you go. Here's a story. Here's a story for you. Okay, so I had to have some surgery, right? And I had this really, really attractive nurse. I mean, really a beautiful woman who later I found out was a model because when I had my photography studio, she came in to get a model portfolio done. But she was gorgeous. So she comes in and she says, we're going to give you some Valium before, we take you into surgery. So she gives me the shot of Valium and I'm like nodding. I mean, I'm like nodding. Good. And she comes in and she says, we're going to have to shave you from your nipples down to your knees.
Nipples to knees. Hey.
So I see her mixing up the thing of water, and I'm like this, and then she starts putting this warm water on me, and she starts shaving me, right? And she's got shaving down. No, wait, she starts shaving. She's going, and the surgery won't take that long. And she gets down, and she's like shaving my private area, and I'm like, oh my God! And she's holding it and shaving it, and she goes, your recovery shouldn't be that long. And I open my eyes. And there is the biggest guy I've ever seen in my life shaving me. And she's sitting in the chair next to me talking to me. And the entire time I thought it was her.
Now, come on. Let's be honest, man. You knew. You peaked. You knew.
No,
you didn't want to admit it to yourself.
I swear to God, that's how high I was. That she was talking. This guy was shaving, but I thought it was her.
I believe you, John.
Nothing happened, right, John?
No.
That would make you gay by.
I was so high that I don't think anything could have happened anyway.
John was so high it would have been like, fuck it, I don't care. Come on, where's the reach around? Come on.
No, I'm telling you though. I'm just telling you though. It was such a rude awakening. It was such a rude awakening because she was sitting right here and I could hear her voice while the shaving was going on. I just assumed it was her.
Well, there's a guy named Chuck.
Imagine how the guy felt. That's hey, you got to go shave that guy in bed 7.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hey, geez, why is this guy smiling so much? Huh? I got a job to do here. You think I enjoy this?
Oh, man.
Well, he's a magician. Watch me make this disappear.
Yeah. If you've ever been in the hospital, it's the worst.
Oh, I've never been shaved, but I just,
no, but you've been in the hospital. You had surgeries, right? And you have to spend a couple of days in the hospital?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
The entire time when you fall asleep, they wake you up to find out how you're sleeping?
Oh, or to take some blood. Yeah, to wake you up to see how you're sleeping.
I stayed over
and then
once.
And does any wheel on any cart in the hospital work when you're trying to sleep?
And here's the question: why is it always fucking sub-zero when you're in the hospital? It's always the temperature's always like sub-zero. It's like they're trying to freeze you like a meat.
Mike, you were in the morgue, dude. Don't you remember?
I like to visit the morgue.
You know that a pilot told me once that if you're on a flight and it gets really turbulent,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing they do is they drop the temperature in the cabin 5 degrees.
To what? Keep you cooler?
Well, when people are cold, they don't get nauseous.
Or they're thinking about freezing instead of crashing.
Right.
There's a video on TikTok. The woman's the flight attendant's coming down the aisle with the beverage cart, and they hit a gigantic
Turbulence.
and the cart hits the ceiling. She hits the ceiling, and the people get drenched with whatever was on the cart. And they're sitting there going, "Oh my god!" And you see
It was her urine.
Oh. Yeah, because they have to figure out where to pee too on a plane. It's
Right.
even harder. Yeah.
Oh my god. Who is it? Max Docelli posted a video that he was on a flight and there was a window in the bathroom on the plane.
Why not? What's wrong with a window in the bed? Who's going to see you? God?
That's why it's so funny. That's what he said. He goes, you feel is somebody going to look in?
Yeah.
Superman.
But I mean, I've never seen a window on a bathroom on a plane. Have you?
I'd enjoy it. I like to look at the clouds when I pee. Craig does. Craig can stand there all day.
Craig pees that way Craig pees that way all the time now. When he's on the plane, he leaves the door half open, talks to the flight attendant like he's looking around.
Yeah.
It's a habit now. It's a habit.
It's the only way you can go. It's the only way you can go.
You got any extra nuts on the cart? How you doing? All right.
Do you want some?
I'm covered with apple juice.
Oh, man. Well, I think we got to get right to it.
Yes.
So we got a great guest today. He's a historian in comedy. He's a good friend of Craig. So I'm going to turn it over to Craig and let him do the honors.
I've been lucky enough to work with Nick, and I've known him for about 12 years now. I actually worked with him out here in a really fantastic production of The Odd Couple. But Nick is one of the most versatile and funny guys I've ever met. He's been on Broadway. He's been in movies. He's been in TV. He is a part of a 1930s comedy team. And I'm going to let him explain that because it's one of the funniest comedy teams you're ever going to see. He sings. He dances. He's seriously a great friend and one of the fastest comic minds I know. No pressure now, Nick. So please welcome Nick Santamaria.
How is everybody?
Oh no!
I was just looking at a few Picassos, and
you always want to see the breasts the right way, right?
right. Keep abreast of it. Yeah.
Nick,
Craig, thank you for that. Wonderful and totally false introduction. I appreciate that.
I think he was reading my bio.
I was looking at somebody else's resume. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
I know. I was telling the guys about our Odd Couple experience. You were Speed, weren't you?
I still am.
Not today, boy. Not today.
Yes, I was Speed. And here we are. There we go.
Oh my God!
Wow, what a great picture.
That's me on the left there with the hat.
You're Oscar.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle. I'm Speed, and I was totally trying to eat the snacks that are on the table, and the director was mad at me for that. And, there's another one.
He started eating the chips. That was the problem.
Yeah, the poker chips, man. All the dental work I had to do after that.
Yeah, right?
They're not bad with a little dip.
Who you calling a dip?
I was going to say, if you know one's short enough. Yeah.
All three of us thought of the same bad joke at the same time.
And that's why no one watches this thing.
You're in the zone.
I was thinking, how could anyone call Craig Speed?
Especially today, right? Craig was late today, by the way.
Yeah, I had some internet issues. I didn't pay my bill. But anyway.
This is so weird because I want to look at you guys over here, but it looks like I'm looking away from you.
No, it's fine. We can do it this way too.
Yeah?
Actually, I have to look down like that. Hey.
Marsha.
So Nick, where did it all start for you?
No hitting.
Well, how did it all start for you, Nick? Let's go back to maybe making faces. Maybe
he's in a box. He's doing the mime.
I'm doing mime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm in a box. I'm a gynecologist. No.
That's right.
That was dirty.
Anyway, so I asked.
Yeah. Make with the questions. Make with the questions.
How did you start in show business? I know I know that you've met some legends too. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a sick man. When I was growing up, I guess I was about. It's hard. I have to. A dysfunction caused my interest in comedy and especially classic stuff. I was the third son, and my mom desperately wanted a girl, and the girl showed up the following year. So I was kind of living under the carpet. You know what I mean? And I used to think to myself, I suppose when you're a child, you really can't intellectualize it. But my feeling was I should try to focus on something my parents really enjoy. So I would hear them talk with their friends and our family about the old movies. You know, they'd say, "Oh, do you remember when W.C. Fields, whatever?" And they would laugh and laugh. And I would think, and my little mind said, "I've got to learn everything about this." And it turns out they weren't impressed, but still, I became obsessed. And now I'm like a walking world book, as far as that. It's crazy.
You are, man. And it goes way back because like you shared pictures. Like I think you're like 19 here and you're with the Ritz brothers. Look at this.
Yeah. Oh boy. Harry and Jimmy Ritz.
Yeah.
The Ritz brothers. If you don't know them, look them up on YouTube. They're amazing. Harry became a buddy of mine. He's on the left. Just so you guys know, Harry was one of the most inspirational comedians of all time. Mel Brooks, Sid Caesar, Danny Kaye, Jerry Lewis, all these guys stole from Harry, and Harry knew it. He used to tell me, and it's okay, it's a compliment, and then he'd bitch about it.
Yeah, but, one of the things I left out is you are pretty much a historian on classic comedy, going all the way back into the silence.
Yes, I teach courses in it, and we go back to the turn of the century. The very first internationally known film comedian who was French. His name was Max Linder. And he ended up murdering his wife. But anyway, you got to take my class to know more. Sorry.
Was that before the talkies? This is
way before the
silent
talkies.
Film?
Well, actually, it's interesting. I do another course about musicals, film musicals. I know everything about film. And I show a musical from 1913. The Jazz Singer, which was the first popular talking film, was 14 years later. So
how did they do that? Did they lay a soundtrack over the film because it didn't have talkies? It couldn't talk, so it was just music in the background, and then they would put the words up on the screen, right?
No, actually, it was Edison. Edison put it together. He filmed it with his patented movie camera, recorded it with his patented voice machine, and then would hook up the mechanisms together. So when you turned it on, the voice machine would match the action.
Wow,
that's cool.
Yeah,
we can't even do that now with Craig on this internet.
Oh yeah,
exactly. No, Edison couldn't help him. Forget it. But it didn't work because a guy by the name of Dr. Lee DeForest developed something called the Audion tube, and that created the ability to multiply the sound, so you could fill a theater, or you could hear it through a radio without putting on headphones or whatever. So Edison was ahead of his time, but wasn't quite there yet.
It's interesting. Just today I read that Thomas Edison originally wanted to make the Statue of Liberty talk. He wanted to put a gigantic, what the article said was a record, so she would actually say speeches that all of Lower Manhattan would hear. I actually read it today. Yeah.
They would have never heard it if they didn't have the Audion tube. It would have been.
Can you imagine what she'd be
What's she saying
today?
We're trying to immigrate here.
Hey,
what's she saying?
What are you talking about? Give me your poor, your destitute. Send some rich people over here. Come on, it's getting dirty by my feet there. Would you stop already?
I love that the Statue of Liberty sounds like Leo Gorcey.
There you go.
It kind of makes sense,
I'm just thinking, what if you're a drunk and all of a sudden she starts talking, you're like, what? Oh, I got the big ladies talking.
Why are you peeing on my feet?
You mentioned Leo Gorcey. There's Hunt's Hall.
Look at that. The Bowery Boys.
Yeah, that's Satch, my buddy.
We used to love that show, right?
Oh,
on Saturday mornings. Oh my God.
The best, man. It was so cool. I'm friends with Leo's family. Leo Jr. and his daughter. His daughter lives here in Florida. They were just at the play. They were just over a couple of weeks ago. But I got to wear the hat, Leo's hat.
Oh man.
But it's bronzed. They have it bronzed,
Wow. That must have hurt.
It did, actually.
Wow, so you're definitely my idol now. You meet at not 6 degrees of separation, but they did movies with Cagney and so,
Bogart.
Yeah, and Bogart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wow. So it's like there's that connection. That's incredible.
Yeah, thanks. I was lucky enough to get to Hollywood while some of them were still alive. You know what I mean? So I got to rub shoulders with the legends because they wouldn't shake hands with me.
Like Red Skelton. Yeah.
Oh, one of my faves. One of my all-time faves.
I mean, when Nick and I met, we just had this immediate connection because I love all the classics. I'm a big Abbott and Costello fan, and I know you finished or working on a book about Abbott Costello too.
We're finished. It's at the publisher.
Well,
it's at the publisher. It's over 500 pages. That's incredible. I'm very proud of it. I wrote it with my co-authors in England, and that to me, that's the best thing about the internet. I got to write a book with one of my favorite authors across the pond. And it's really good. It's really good.
We had Sue Costello on the show. We had
Chris
Costello. Yes,
yeah, I know Chris very well.
So that's pretty cool.
Did you meet Patty, the other daughter, the other surviving daughter? She's a trip. She's a trip. Yeah, she's so honest about everything. I love it. And you get a real idea of what Lou was like at home. From Patty.
Yeah, of course.
How funny guys are.
What was that?
Yeah.
What was that? I heard three things at one time.
I know.
No, that's just the drugs you were doing this morning. Come on, Nick, be honest.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so
anyway, I wanted to bring this up. I said in the introduction, one of the things that Nick has done, and he defies time. He's actually a time traveler because he and his partner are actually a 30s comedy team called Biffle and Shooster, and I didn't show it before you came on. Can I show the trailer now that we put together?
Oh, please do.
This is hilarious. You got to see this. Here we go.
Who are you?
Who are we? B-I-F-F-Biffle Biffle. S-H-O-O-Ooster Shooster.
Biffle and Shooster.
Need we say more?
The last job we had, we were so funny you could hear the laughter across the street.
Really? What was playing across the street? Oh, a doctor, eh? Say, Doc, it hurts when I go like this.
So don't go like this. We lost everything in the crash, including father. Heart attack at 46.
I had U.S. Steel at 110.
8 years I've been working my fingers to the bone, and what do I get? If you say bony fingers, I'll kill you.
We happen to be sensational. Did you see our last show?
I sure hope so.
This man is barely one step above an ape.
Coming soon. Check your local newspaper for showtimes.
Yeah! Could this day get any worse?
Oh, that's great.
Very funny.
You have to understand, for someone like me, it was like a fantasy. It was like a dream come true. That kind of comedy is where I live. It's
Oh, you need to put together, and maybe you already have a whole vaudeville show, like you guys, and get some other act, do a whole,
What do we do, Craig? You tell him.
Yeah, he did. I've gone and seen his live show. It's amazing, and the characters are real. They live and breathe. And I just want to know, where do you keep the time machine, and how'd you get back there? Because that's
through the courtesy and money of Michael Schlesinger.
Jim Beaver was in that. Is it Jim Beaver or John Beaver?
Jim Beaver from Deadwood, and
our mutual friend Dan Roebuck was
Danny Roebuck, who is now Grandpa Munster.
Grandpa Munster
in the new movie. Yeah. And Robert Forster, Academy Award nominee. Dick Miller from all the old Roger Corman.
Lucy and Dick, yeah.
Yeah. And the gorilla in Bride of Finkelstein was Chris Wallace, an Academy Award winning special effects man. So the movies cost, seriously, upwards of like $350,000 he spent to do 5 shorts, 5 20-minute shorts. Actually, I think one of them is 30 minutes.
I get my shorts at Kmart.
Hilarious. I recommend anybody. It's available on Amazon. You can rent it. You can stream it. You can buy it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime now. Yeah, you can.
What's the name of it? I would definitely look that up. And what's the name? If I go look it up on Amazon, what do I look up?
Okay, this is what I want to recommend. Get the DVD because it's got so many funny extras on it. There's 2 hours of extras, and the outtakes are hilarious. In fact, funnier than the movies. So get the DVD. It says it's the Misadventures of Biffle and Shooster.
It's
Okay.
hilarious.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Craig.
Can you put that up on the screen and post there, Craig?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'll underneath in post, we're going to put a little a scroll here so people can actually go right to the link. And
Yeah. Oh, he's starting to freeze up again.
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge fan of anything different. It's like you see so much comedy, so many this, that. I can definitely appreciate what you do because it's different. It's when you're in the business, you're so saturated with stuff. So the only thing that holds my interest is something that's going to be different. And
absolutely,
I love what you're doing.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Thank you very much. It's a labor of love, a total labor of love. Certainly wasn't money, but there's the shorts are very reminiscent of either the Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy. And each one is different. Each one is a little different, and one of them's in color, right? One of them,
right?
Super, yeah, a Schmoboat is in a Super Cinecolor, which actually existed, and the editor actually matched what Super Cinecolor was in the 50s to what this is. So it really looks interesting.
Yeah, the color was so much different back then.
Yeah.
Oh, Technicolor, it looked like Fantasyland. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, here's an idea to save some money on the next one. Make a silent one. Do like a Buster Keaton, or thing, and just
Yeah, right. I would love that. Honestly.
Actually, Nick and I did a silent film
making silent movies, huh?
Nick and I did a silent film together
on your show.
It's a little too long to play here, but it was a lot of fun though.
Well, look at it at Craig's show. Look at it. It premieres tonight, doesn't it?
Oh. Well, it appears on Thursday, October 28th. Yes, that's when it premieres.
That is,
Wow.
Yeah. And we should do that. I should repackage that and show that again. I really should.
Okay.
Because you're so far away, we can't shoot another one. Although I'd love to.
That's what I say every time I put on my underwear. I should repackage that and show it again.
Oh boy!
It says the genie in Aladdin. Were you the original genie, or were you one down the line? How did that work?
I created the role and a lot of the dialogue. It ran for 13 years, and I don't know if anyone knows what this is. At the Hyperion Theater at Disneyland. What's the place? California Adventure.
California Adventure. Yep.
They have a 2,000-seat state-of-the-art theater, and they put up a Broadway style show of Aladdin, and it was a huge deal at the time. I made the cover of the calendar section of the LA Times. Interviews, reviews, celebrities coming. Johnny Depp used to come like every other day while he was doing the pirate stuff. And I met what's his name? Cal Ripken was the most exciting for me. But anyway, whatchamacallit? I was the first. I created it. It was
that's cool.
A big deal. And I stayed for 10 months, and that was as much as I could take of the makeup and stuff. But and then I got a letter from Mel Brooks people saying we want to see you for the producers. And I was in New York, and the next thing I know, I was in the producers.
Who'd you get a letter from?
I mean, you wouldn't have heard of him.
I know. I mean, Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
There you go.
Melvin Kaminsky. I called him Melvin. He called me handsome. Hey, handsome, come here.
I like the guy photobombing you up to the right too. I don't know what his deal was.
Kevin Pollak's brother.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's that guy. He's the cable guy.
Cable guy?
Yeah, he's Murray the cable guy. No, I don't know. He was hanging around because I knew Mel. He was hoping he could get some of the residuals.
The city version of Larry the cable guy. Murray the city cable guy.
Murray, yeah, right. Murray from New York One.
What was it like working on the producers?
There's Hoff.
Yep.
Half an actor is better than none. I always say. I'll tell you about Hoff with one short story. When we were rehearsing the first day, he was doing Roger Debris, and Roger Debris has a lyric in his song, Oedipus won't bomb if he ends up with mom. Right? That's what Mel is just fucking. Anyway, he couldn't pronounce Oedipus. He kept saying, Oedipus, and we're off to the side going. this is the guy who's supposed to draw them in. It turns out they threw all their money at Hoff, and he didn't draw like they thought he would.
Mm.
And
you should have done it in Germany.
Yeah. Like any place in Europe.
Yeah, he's
any
big
place other than here.
He's actually a really nice guy. He's a little clueless, but a nice guy.
I got a question. How'd you get the car on stage?
What was that?
How'd you get the car on stage? You know,
we waited till night.
A night.
Yeah. But anyway, I have a good Hoff story. This is another thing that will explain him. I was there for the hamburger incident where he's on the floor trying to eat the hamburger. That was all during.
His daughter recorded that, right?
He recorded it, so he would like sober up, you know.
Yeah.
So I was off that night. I was sick that night, and I don't watch much regular TV. I don't watch any commercial TV, and so I didn't know what was going on. And I came in the next night, and I notice that David's being followed around by a camera, and they go into his dressing room, which was pretty much a tribute to him. 6-foot cutout standees of him, T-shirts all over the room with his face on them, you know, everything. It's a tribute to Hoff. And so I'm walking by, and I decide I'm going to mess with him because I used to tease him a lot. So I stuck my head and I said, "Hey Hoff, I got those 12-year-old boys in the car. What do you want me to do with them?" And he looked at me. The cameraman is there, and he looked at me and he went, "What?" I said, "The 12-year-old boys, they're in the car. What do I do with them?" And he went, "Nick, what the hell are you talking about?" And I walked away. You know, I was goofing with them.
Yeah.
They told me that was Entertainment Tonight, and he was trying to do damage control the night before. Now, here's the punchline. I'm backstage, you know, putting on my coat, you know, whatever. And his dresser comes up to me and said, "Do you know what he said after you left, or after the cameraman left?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Did Nick say there were some 12-year-old boys that wanted my autograph?" That's what he heard.
Nothing cleans up your image. Nothing cleans up your image more than hanging out with 12-year-old boys.
This was a while ago. It wouldn't have sat well, you know. Now
maybe that was his new show, Gay Watch. Thank you. I'm here all week.
Hey,
Gay Watch. The time is now 2:00.
Yeah, I'd like to save that guy, but my hair.
I just can't.
I've got so much product in here. I'm not going in the ocean. I am not going in the ocean.
Why do you have Oreos on your head? Well, somebody said I should use product. So anyway, so that's my Hoff story. But that was Vegas. That was after the road and Broadway and all that stuff. We ended up in Vegas. We went to Tokyo with it for a month. I mean, I was like his boy for a while, you know.
Who were the leads in the show?
Oh, I had several. We had Jason Alexander and Martin Short.
Who?
Oh God, they were great. They were great.
Most people are name droppers. You're a picture dropper. Look at that.
Yeah, you're putting them up, not me. But then we had a guy named Louis Stadlin. Was Max. He was the original Groucho in Minnie's Boys back in 1969, for those of you who are into that.
Is it still running? Because, I mean, that's the kind of a play that you would think would run forever because it's timeless.
Well, you know what happened with it, honestly? It was, first of all, it came out at just the right time. It was around 9/11. Everybody needs cheering up. They wanted an old-fashioned, you know, musical where you could walk out whistling the tunes, you know, and all that stuff. And that's exactly what the public got. And for a time, I was part of the biggest show in the world. Mm-hmm. It was the most popular live show in the world. And it won the most Tony Awards ever.
I did that once. I was on America's Most Wanted.
You know, you're still dressing for it. But yeah, that was producers. I was mostly depressed during the producers because it was so constrictive. I'm a very improvisational guy. My best night was my very first night when I did stuff that I didn't know I was not supposed to do, and got one of the biggest laughs ever in that show. In the 5 years I was with that show, the biggest laugh was when Schwarzenegger became governor. And I was playing the guy who comes in at the end with the letter from the governor. Guys, listen, this just came from the governor.
Right.
Gentlemen, you are hereby granted. We had to stand there for like a minute before they stopped, and it was out of the show the next night.
Who played LSD?
Debbie Reynolds.
Ah. I didn't see who's on LSD as a group.
But anyway, that's my producer's thing.
Going back to your love of the classic, comedians, silent and also on film, who would be your favorite? I mean, not just a team, but maybe favorite film comedian.
I can tell you. You can't judge a silent movie comedian to a sound movie comedian. That doesn't work for me. But the greatest comedian I think of all time was Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin created everything. He started it. He perfected it. And let me put it this way: he starred in it. He directed it. He produced it, which meaning he paid for it with his own money. If he lost money, he lost money. If he made money, he made money, and he always made money. He wrote the music. This guy was the greatest
Renaissance comedian.
Yeah,
definitely.
He had to be one of the first guys too. That it's like you don't see it today. It's like funny's funny, but Chaplin and those guys, they did. They would give you the range of emotions. They'd make you cry and laugh and do the whole thing, and it had to start somewhere right around there.
Yeah, I always cry. I always cry when I see your act and Craig's act.
From laughter.
I'm getting slammed today.
Yeah.
That's because you're late.
No, I plan on getting slammed later. But anyway, that's another story. I was going to say, what's your favorite Chaplin film?
Oh, I didn't get to say my favorite sound comedian. W.C. Fields. W.C. Fields was maybe one of the funniest men that ever touched ground. He was we just watched him last night. I'm staying at a buddy's place. We watched him last night. I was crying. He's us. He's us. He's a mirror.
At the Magic Castle, they have a whole W.C. Fields exhibit.
That's Milt Larson. That's Milt Larson's collection.
Yeah, with all the crooked pool sticks and.
I would go and just soak up the energy. That's what I was doing. In fact, in January, I'm going to Chaplin's house in Switzerland.
Really?
It's now a museum, Chaplin's World, and it's like I can't wait to get there. It's been a childhood dream. So.
Wow, very cool. Pick me up a bobblehead.
Oh, I will. Just text me when I should put it down.
The greatest comedian of all time you can now capture with a bobblehead. Live the legacy.
As long as they don't make a chia pet out of him. That's all I had. No chia pet.
Oh God! I was just thinking of a Chinese version of the Marx Brothers musical, Ho Chi Minh's Boys.
Ho Chi Minh. In their new movie, number 69.
They're remaking one of their films with an all-female cast.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, womb service. Thank you.
Now we know why his internet's freezing. All right.
Come see our comedians in womb service for experience their delivery. What?
Nick and I, many times over the years, have gone off on what would you call it? We just do pun after pun after pun after pun.
Oh yeah, pun offs.
I happen to love puns, so I'm sorry.
But you know what puns are now. You know what they're called.
No.
Dad humor.
Yeah.
In fact, wit has become dad humor.
You mean Bobby with the pitcher? No, I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
Bobby with the pitcher? No, sorry.
We were talking about that with Billy Gardell the other day, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we torture our kids.
Yeah, with our puns.
With our puns.
Alfred Hitchcock said he believes the pun is the most literary form of humor, meaning it's the most developed language-wise. You have to know three different definitions for every word, basically, if you're going to be a good punster.
It's just one of my favorite things. When I drive rideshare, which is often, sometimes I'll go off on a pun, like a pun chain on something that they drive the passenger message, and they jump out of the car before I stop. It's really
and you wonder why your passengers drink.
And they were wondering the same thing about him.
Yeah.
The driver's got a bottle of gin in his hand.
When I drink, I take rideshare. Of course, I'm the driver, so it doesn't work out. So.
Oh God! I remember my first pun. Actually, I was about 9 years old, and I was walking up Main Street with my cousin, and we were little. We were reading the signs in the shop windows, and it was her turn to read it, and she said Frigidaire, and I said, and Ginger Rogers. And I knew I was destined for mediocrity.
That's it. Always shoot for the middle.
That's right. It's the most painful.
Well, it was Kip Adada had that album out called.
Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, he had an album out, and one side of the album was called "Cruising Up the Gulf Stream," and it had something like 280 puns in the record.
Wow.
Really?
And it was it was always like I was driving my Stingray in downtown Atlanta. I pulled into a Shell station, and the guy said, "I think you've blown a seal."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Keep my personal life out of this."
Hey.
But it was all.
And that's why it sold 14 copies. All right, welcome.
And they were all dead.
It was actually really funny. And he had like black gospel singers in the back. And then every time they would go, he was cruising up the Gulf Stream. It was really funny. It was really funny.
In case you missed it. Oh God. But I do love puns. They're a lot of fun.
What are you doing with yourself? I know Craig is probably going to ask this, but I'm beating him to the punch. What are you doing with yourself these days?
None of your business.
Hey, man.
There you go.
Actually, it's interesting. I'm at a very interesting stage of life. My dad passed away a year ago, December. And my mom, thank you. My mom is alone, and she's 90. So of the 4 children, I was chosen because I'm the only one who doesn't own a home, for one thing. Right. And I'm kind of a gypsy in life anyway. So I'm living with her on the island and taking care of her. But in the meantime, I teach via Zoom courses in mostly show business history. And I write books.
Very cool. I'll be I'll be heading to Florida, very soon to see my 90-year-old mother.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah. I'm gonna come and visit your islands.
Oh no! Hey. Do you like Ginger or Marianne?
Oh, do I like Ginger? Actually, my wife was when I met her was pretty. She looked a lot like Ginger.
Oh boy,
yeah,
she was my favorite.
So far out of my league. People just knew I either had a lot of money or whatever. So
isn't that great though when that happens?
Oh yeah. I would introduce her as my wife, and people would just go like, "Wow, what's wrong with her?"
I'm actually meeting my girlfriend for the first time in January. I'm going to England.
Fascinating, yeah.
We had a pandemic romance over the internet.
So cool.
Talking every day for like a year and a half, and we know each other so well. But I don't know if she smells like Roquefort or not.
Stay away from those English women.
Yeah, but she's got nice teeth, and she's gorgeous. She's really gorgeous.
That's such a fallacy about England.
Is it?
Yeah, they have the best dental care in the world.
It's an old
everything
thing.
Everything is like they have the best healthcare system ever.
But you know what they say it is? They say that they never put fluoride in the water, and that's what they did here in this country. Right. So their teeth are not as healthy.
There's most places in Florida didn't have fluoride in the water.
Fluoride in the water and lead in the paint.
I don't drink the water out of the tap here. That's for sure. It's like, did this come from the pool? Does anyone smell chlorine?
I know. Anybody smell sulfur?
People are worried about getting a chip in the vaccine. You got a chip from the paint and from the water. Trust me.
I need the rubella umbrella.
I admire English teeth. Terry Thomas. See?
Oh, Terry Thomas. I said that's fabulous. One of my heroes.
On your resume,
is that the guy from the Mad World?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Bosoms. This the female bosom. Yeah.
Where in England is she from?
Where what? I'm sorry?
Where in England is she from?
Oh, she's in Surrey, England.
Okay, I know that is. I was married to an English woman. That's why.
Oh, were you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I heard
the word was. So
from Buckinghamshire.
Oh,
Very posh. Very
Yeah.
posh.
It's lovely
Every
powder
time
shop
you
job.
mention that to anybody from England, they go, "Oh, so posh."
Oh, I see. Yes,
Sure.
yeah.
So what would the United States equivalent be? I don't know, Ocala.
Ocala.
Yeah. Park
Ocala.
Place.
I love those Irish people.
Park Place.
No, Beverly Foothills.
Yeah, right. Michael O'Connor. Right?
Ocala. There you go.
O'Connor.
That's so funny. I have a friend who just bought a house in Ocala.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they going for now? Welcome to real estate at home.
My dad wanted to move there back in the 70s. He really did. He
It's
loved
horse
it.
country, right? You're talking about Ocala, Florida, right?
Ocala,
Yeah,
Florida.
Yeah, it's horse country. That's what Labrilla.
Everybody talks like this. How you doing? Great to see.
Oh, horses.
That's that kind of horse. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Let me tell you something. I live over here. No.
You do a great Durante.
Good night, Mrs. Calabet. No, I can't. I can. Give me enough time.
Yeah, he does a good director. He knows. Get it? He knows.
I
It's
know.
not a porn, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God!
It's my world.
John,
It's
I
a
think John hates
catastrophe
puns.
trip.
We've deteriorated to Pun City.
Sorry.
Pun City.
Yeah. So tell us more about the Abbott and Costello book. What gamut does it span?
Easy for you to say.
I know. I was going to say.
That's freezing. I'm watching time. That was my
Are you still having internet trouble?
Yeah.
Who's on first?
So anyway, no,
I'm a victim of circumcision.
he was Jewish. But anyway, the Abbott and Costello book. My co-author, Matthew Coniam, wrote a very popular book about the Marx Brothers, and it was called The Annotated Marx Brothers. And what he did, he took each movie, wrote about it, told the story about how it was made, expressed his opinion, and then he annotated certain spots. So if let's say you didn't understand a reference, from the 70-year-old movie, he would explain it, and show you exactly where to go to see that scene. Off to the side, there'd be the time code. So whatchamacallit. So that became a very popular book amongst, this niche. And so he decided he wanted to try to do the same thing for Abbott and Costello, but Abbott and Costello made 3 times as many films. So he didn't want to do it alone. He said, I would never be able to slog through. He knew me from, I'd appeared on their podcast about the Marx Brothers and stuff like that. And he knew I loved Abbott and Costello, and that Lou Costello was my first comedy inspiration. So he asked me to write it with him. And now we're doing the annotated Abbott and Costello. It'll be out next year. And we're very, very proud of it.
That's great, man.
Yeah, we had Chris on, and we didn't talk about that per se. We talked about her book, which is Lou's on First, which was the most in depth I've got to read about Lou initially. So I'm very, very excited.
Which I actually bought, and I still haven't read. I haven't had time to read it yet, but I paid for it and downloaded it.
You don't have to admit that during a broadcast. What if she's watching?
How can we have all these guests and we never get any freebies?
It's a good book. It's a very good book. And it's an answer to another book. I don't know. Did you talk about this? The original book called Bud and Lou, written by Bob Thomas, was brought about by their old manager, a guy named Eddie Sherman. And Eddie Sherman had a real axe to grind, especially against Lou. Nobody knows why, but the book was such a hatchet job. And fans, when I first read, I was like 17 or 18, and I was like, I can't believe this. Lou was that much of a jerk. He was that much of an asshole. So Chris, and then they came out with that movie with Buddy Hackett and Harvey Korman. Horrible.
I mentioned that to Chris, and she actually held up a cross.
Oh, there you go. See?
Yeah.
And I didn't say I didn't want to read the book. I said I haven't had time to read the book.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's too late. It's too late. But anyway, her book was an answer to that book, and it sort of balanced it. But in our book, there's a chapter at the end called Lou and Me, and I deal with the negative stuff I've heard about him. Wow. And I discuss it in depth. And I'm hoping Chris isn't upset about this because it's ultimately a very positive thing. But he was like all of us, he was a flawed human being, Yeah. And Matthew wrote something about Bud. I think that's going to surprise people. It's pretty controversial.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I know that Bud had. He suffered from epilepsy.
Epilepsy, yeah.
And I know they had a thing in the act that if Lou saw him going into a seizure, to punch him in the stomach. Yeah,
mm-hmm. It would bring him back to out of the fit that was coming. And Bud lived in fear of that his whole life. In fact, he drank every night. He drank himself to sleep because he was so afraid.
Out of the epilepsy into the emergency room.
Exactly. Yeah,
that was the theater.
And the secret is who really isn't on first.
You know how many times I got that meme of that guy named standing on first? I think I must have gotten like 80 of them from people. It's so funny. But it's a fascinating story. It's a tragic story, ultimately. These are two guys that raised the most money for the government during World War II.
For the war effort, yeah.
Yeah, and Lou kind of gave up his health doing it. And what did they do? How did they thank them? By making them an example for tax, evasion or whatever it was. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's the government.
It just continues my hatred of the government. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, as I said, that's the government, man. It's like, it hasn't changed a bit.
Not a bit, one little bit.
If anybody has the means, I'm sure a lot of them are on YouTube. If you really want to see some real special moments of Abbott and Costello that I personally think are treasures, they have a live kinescopes of them on the Colgate Comedy Hour.
The best.
They're just, it's not planned and it's improvised and it's really amazing.
And you see them in their real element. That's what they were. They were live comedians.
Well, there's this one, because this is one of my favorite ones. They're at the actors' retirement home, and they do the whole who's on first bit, and it seems because they did some improv with it, so it doesn't.
They never did it the same way twice. They never did it the same way twice. Sometimes you see them actually trying to throw each other, and you see it in their eyes. But I got to tell you, if you ever see the one from the movie, and this is my favorite version of it, it's a movie called The Naughty 90s, right? And if you listen really closely, you hear the cameraman laughing.
Really?
So, and it's great. It's just great. It's a beautiful live moment.
Naughty 90s. I got to look that up.
I loved Abbott and Costello. I think they lost something in the 50s when they added Joe Besser. But aside from that,
they actually did to their television.
They did. I meant to say Curly Joe Dorita.
Oh, see. You know what's funny about Biffle and Shooster? I always tease Will. I always say, if I go away, you're going to have to work with somebody named Benny Joe. A replacement who looks like me.
Is that why he keeps calling me? Will, seriously. Well, that's great. So, do you have a time frame when the book's going to come out, or just soon?
But they're telling. Here's the deal: they've already got the manuscript. They've got the photos. We're ready to go. But apparently, they take their time. So it might be like mid 2022.
Cool. Well, I'm going to make sure that we display your website and also where to buy Biffle and Shooster on Amazon. And we look forward to that. Nick, we're such great friends, and you're so funny. And I
miss you, pal. I miss you, pal.
Yeah, me too. When you're coming back, you should come back and do another Biffle and Shooster live show. You really should. Come on.
I'd love to. I really would. I would love to. I would love to do some more movies and have you in one.
Oh, God, I'd love that. Oh, we had Sarah Ballantyne on our show months ago. I
love Sarah.
Yeah, she's part of the stage show also.
She's part of our Biffle and Schuster family. She must have talked about it. Did she talk about it at all?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. She showed pictures, remember?
Yeah. That's right, she did. Yeah. That's awesome.
We love Sarah.
Thank you for taking so much time to be with us today, man.
It was a pleasure, guys. Great to meet you too.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good meeting you, Nick, man. It was a pleasure. We had a lot of fun.
And now, like all shows, we're going to end with a song. And no, I'm kidding. Anyway, thank you so much.
God. Are we off now?
Not yet.
Oh,
now we are. All right.
Hey, everybody. That was Nick Santa Maria. What a great guy. Very funny, very knowledgeable. Thank you for bringing him on, Craig. Yep, and that's our show.
Yeah. Now what?
That's it. We're gone. Oh, yes. We're going to tell you where you can find us.
Yeah.
You can find us on the website, www.thebbradio.com.
Yeah, and we're here on Facebook. Or if you want to check us out, some of the older shows on YouTube. And we're also Up Your Sister's Skirt.
Oh, my God, no. And we're on Twitter. And we're on Twitter, too, the BBB Radio Podcast. And send us a message because we don't get any on Twitter. We don't. And that wraps it up for me.
Nobody wants to talk to us. I wonder why.
Oh, all righty. Goodbye.
Right.
Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my feather friend. I'm off to Louisiana to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Thank you.